Whew. All right. So finally getting through the prologue.
Yeah.
Charles, you stole his chick!
And no way.
Just to steal your bitch.
Adolf Rizzler over here.
What? What did you say?
What?
Adolf Rizzler?
Yeah.
Is that what you? Is that what is that? I don't know
Riz is like charisma. Riz.
Yeah.
Oh, and Adolf is the from Hitler. How does
Yeah,
that
'cause
play?
he-
How does that
Basically,
play
it's a
into?
play on words. Basically saying he's got a lot of charisma and he's charismatically convincing this chick to dump the actor dude and want to date him.
Oh,
He
I
has
thought
systematically annihilated that ass.
Exactly.
Okay. Not
Yeah.
as in he went in and stole shit. Invaded Poland and Austria.
Well, I mean, he kind of did. He just showed up.
He saw
with,
Austria there and was just like, "Oh, that's a
it-
nice piece of ass."
Yep, pretty much. So I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick before we
Sure.
get on to the next one. Yeah.
Thank you for explaining these new terms. Because I'd be lost.
15-year-old.
Have you learned these from your daughter?
Oh yeah, I'm so fluent in it now.
Is this a thing that your daughter has said?
Oh yeah.
Oh, do you walk up to her and be like, "Hey, watch this. I'm gonna riz your mom."
Dude, I say like all because she like the perfect amount of embarrassment, like especially when she have friends over, I'll just switch it on and just start speaking like they do, and she's always like, "You're not even using it right, Dad."
That's the best part.
That's my favorite thing, is embarrassing her.
Are you winning, daughter?
She always says I sound like a boomer.
Okay, boomer.
Well, they started this new, I guess, like teenagers. They just go, "Okay, buddy," and look at you and just shake their like sarcastically, and it is like, it's really funny, but also like when I'm trying to like actually give her advice or something like that, and she pulls that out, it's so fucking annoying. She just goes, "Okay, buddy." I'm like,
Listen here, you little shit.
yeah, between a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old girl, it's a hoot.
Oh, buddy.
You know?
Okay, buddy. Yeah, I'd be lost without those translations. Welcome back to Roll Top Realms presents The Tatters of the King. We are on episode 5 now. 5. Nice. I'm having a great time. And my players, hopefully they're having a good time too. We are finally done with the prologue, guys. That's huge. Major minor accomplishment. Last time, the intro we did, character, a little bit more about your characters and their professional acquaintances and things like that. This time, I wanted to talk more about your bonds, because they do kind of play a role in as kind of tertiary characters and NPCs. And bonds are important to us all in real life. They are a safety net, mental and emotional safety nets. And so they play a role in our lives, and they play a role in Call of Cthulhu as well, as a game mechanic. And so before we get into more depth of our bonds and things like that, or character bonds, I'd like to lay a little bit of a foundation for our audience. So starting with Ben, why don't you tell us your character's name and who are your characters' bonds?
Once again, it's Guy DuBois. However, I'll pronounce it both ways randomly because I'm great with names. But I'd say his biggest bond is his mom, Miss DuBois.
Does Miss DuBois have a first name?
She most likely does, that I don't remember now off the top of my head.
I'll think of it.
It's written down somewhere.
Mama.
But he's very like they live together. He would be what you would consider Mama's boy. In his head, it's more of a relationship of convenience. He takes care of his mother. That's why they live together. And she's very doting, and that annoys him on the surface, but secretly he couldn't live without it. She definitely picks up the slack, keeps the house clean, and allows his eccentric nature to kind of flow.
And you had a second bond, right?
Yes, and then there's also Wilhelm Thatcher is a close colleague of Guy's. He's met through several conventions and other stuff throughout London. They kind of hit it off because they both have a deep-rooted belief in Atlantis and the constant search for it. It's kind of a little pet project they have on the side. But Thatcher is a fellow psychologist, works out of London, but also works, as like a linguist on the side.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, John.
So, the most important of the two relationships that Detective McDowell maintains is definitely Sister McClarity. It's kind of like this friendship he's had since he was like a much younger man, and he's maintained this friendship for all this time, but at like he really wants it to be more. Like clearly he is head over heels for this person, and in the at least decade that they've known each other, he has refused to pursue any other person, and she has always just kind of like laughed off every one of his advances.
Yeah,
And-
she's a nun.
Yeah. Obviously, right? But he's like, one day I'll catch her in the right mood.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. And
That sounds awful. I mean, I'm not Catholic, but I imagine that seducing a nun doesn't go very doesn't look right.
oh yeah, Jesus Christ is a hard act to follow.
I mean, have you seen his physique? Dude is tweet.
I have a joke. I don't think I'm allowed to say it because I'm pretty sure it's heresy.
Am I gonna have to edit it out? I can edit it out. I'll
right.
fix it in post.
Pause for editing. The girls like him because he's hung like this.
Okay. That's funny. Okay.
You guys know how Jesus whistles, right?
Who is your second bond?
The second bond is he's a chief detective of the local police department. He's sort of Jon McDowell's old man to walk behind.
He was
You know what I mean?
retired. You said he was retired?
Yeah, sorry. He was previously the chief detective.
Oh, okay.
But he's now retired. And so often he will kind of like walk into the police department late at night to check up on how Detective McDowell is doing and offer advice, both for work and for life. And he has vehemently advised him to leave the fucking nun alone. He's also just a father figure as well, because Detective McDowell's father died when he was very, very young. So he kind of leaned on this detective to teach him the ropes and to sort of get life advice as a man without a father.
Chuck, how about you?
Yeah. So for Walter, like I said, his big bond will be Danny. Danny is somebody he met at a when he was around the age of 18, when they was in that life of crime. I plan to kind of use, Danny as a way of like, so y'all can like get to know Walter more. And they was both gang members, pretty much. And he owes Danny his life because Danny was the one that kind of got him, helped get him out of that lifestyle. So he owes everything to Danny. He looks up to Danny. And fourth, and like, I think Danny's the only one that the audience have not met yet because he meets them in secret. He can't be seen with Danny because Danny is still actively involved in that, gang life. So he meets him in like these little back bars, during his off time to catch up with them. And then, as far as like his second one, it's more of like an emotional bond, which is a pet. It's a Jack Russell Terrier that he found when he was like in his younger days. Because like there was a time like around like 16, he got like kicked out of his mother's house and decided to live off the streets. And he found one day while just in the alleys, he found a dog just wandering and looking for something to eat. And he took a liking to it, and he named her Bella. And so when he comes home, that's kind of like his release. He'll play with Bella to try to forget everything, and just kind of relax.
All right. Yeah, awesome. Brenden, how about you?
So, Lawrence has two major bonds. Obviously, for those of you who've seen the previous episodes, you know that one of those bonds is his sister, Evelyn. She's much younger than him. I believe I said she was about 17, 18 years old. So, just entering the tunnel of adulthood, and basically she's still young, still kind of inexperienced in life since Lawrence has basically been looking out for her entire life. Basically, she's become his ward, as it were. His responsibility to teach her how to function in society. Since Evelyn and Lawrence both kind of had a falling out with their parents. So he's like, okay, well, look, I'm going to go and do my own thing, and then I'm going to take her with me and take care of her. That kind of stuff. And then his second bond, pull up my notes right here, is Professor David Adamson. He's a colleague at the university where Professor Christian works. Adamson specializes in biology and chemistry, and he is often found, he basically is a lab rat. He stays in the university's laboratory all the time. They met during the war, and Adamson is the one who helped Christian get his position at the university. Basically, he helped recommend him to be a professor there.
All right. And undoubtedly those bonds will pop up. And now when they do get introduced, it'll make a little bit more sense as we dive back into the game. I fade out that music into some dark strings. Fade out and fade back in. Back in the Scala Theater foyer for the very last time. We fade in, pan around. Guests are beginning to shuffle out of the door. It's late now. It's going almost to midnight. People are leaving, shaking hands, exchanging pleasantries and business cards. We pan around. 4 gentlemen exchanging what to do next. Are we thinking too hard about this? We fade in as people are shuffling through the doors and into the cold, wet snow, jumping into cabs, walking to the nearest omnibus stop. We fade in, Tatters of the King, Bonds. So, prologue is officially over. Yes. Finally diving into the meat and potatoes. The taters of the King. How did you each arrive here, and how are you planning to get home? It is getting very close to midnight now. What is your plans for the evening? Paint a picture for me.
I had initially walked here with Sister McClarity from the nunnery. I'd intended to walk her back home, but then a rather sizable fight broke out in the theater. So now I'm considering going back to the police department to build a case file and begin an investigation.
Okay, sounds good. I am actually looking up what. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that a nunnery was an actual thing. It is a building or group of buildings in which nuns live as a religious convent. That was the other word, because I didn't want to be rude and assume that it was called a nunnery. It just didn't seem like what the actual technical term is. I think it's a convent is the actual term. All right.
For nunnery.
Prefer nunnery. Okay. I think I heard that somewhere, like a movie or something, or a play. Anyway,
I did mention it earlier, but we kind of glanced over it.
a convent.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I probably glossed over it because I've been drinking. Right. So Detective McDowell wants to go to the nearest precinct where they would have taken these rabble rousers, and you want to go there tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm
Right.
going to formally invite Dr. DuBois to come with me if he would like to talk to some of these inmates in the morning. But I will probably end up sleeping at the police department.
Well, I appreciate that. I gotta get Mother home, but in the morning I will definitely swing by.
Fantastic.
I would have taken a cab with
Alright.
Mother, so we would hail another cab. I wouldn't imagine I live too far from the area, but too far for me to walk with an elderly lady.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. So, yes, as you're hailing the cab, your mother stands in the cold. You can tell she's looking like she's getting tired. Kind of that cranky right before bed. Trying to struggle and stay awake. Okay. All right, Professor Christian.
Initially, we did take a cab, me and my sister.
Uh-huh.
But since I had sent her home earlier, by herself, he's now kind of up in the air. Does he go home and kind of sleep it off, or does he go back to his university? He has his own office that he's got a cot and things like that set up for those late nights where it's just better to just crash there and keep the creative juices flowing when he's doing a bunch of research. He does want to research more about this play and these and basically everything that was inspiration to all of the proceedings that happened before. But I think... Oh wait, no. So Detective McDowell mentioned the director has those things at his house, so he wouldn't have access to them.
Well, he wouldn't have access. The professor would not probably have access to that, even at a university library in the reference material. A rare book like that would probably be a collector's piece held by a personal collector. But the other books that the professor had relayed that information, or you may have been there, part of the conversation, that Talbot had written would probably be available. Certainly, you would probably be able to research what that sign was if you wanted to look more into that. But yeah, I think that the an actual copy of the play, you can probably research the play, but an actual copy would be too rare to be held at a public university.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he'll probably hail a cab and go to the university, and at least be ready to jump into work straight away when he wakes up in the morning.
All right. And Mr. Hunt.
Yeah, I think, like I said, Hunt, he'll probably just catch like a bus or something to head back to the house. There's normally the time he will normally try to go to a bar, catch up with with Danny or something like that, get a drink. But it's already been a long night. He do got to work in the morning, so I think he will just catch a bus, go back to his apartment, or like a little bit, and just wind down for a little while, and kind of try to think back to the two things, like the dreams, like try to connect the dreams, see like why they're having those dreams, and just trying to ponder a little bit.
So you're waiting in the snow. You're bundling up as best you can. You have a coat, but I mean, it's nothing in comparison to a thick wool, thick fur coat that you see other passerbys wearing, maybe a little bit more affluent than you. But you're doing your best to keep warm. You're smoking another cigarette, and there's other people that are there waiting for the bus. The bus arrives, and you clamber on board. Bus driver, he's doing his job. He ignores you. You pay the fee to get in. Show him the bus pad. He ushers you back, not even saying a real word to you, and just pulling off back into the street. And off you go, and you're thinking to yourself, those dreams. What was it that Helen said? That was her name, right? Helen?
So it was Hannah, wasn't it?
Hannah, that's right, Hannah. You think back, what was Hannah's dream again? She was trapped. She trapped in the city as well. So you're thinking back. She said she was. Let me find it.
Trapped in a city of white coral.
No, that was
Jean.
That was Jean.
Yeah.
So Hannah's dream was that it's George. Where's Hannah's? She's been having dreams of being. She didn't describe the city, but she knew that she was in the city of Carcosa. So she's like, you keep thinking. She said she was trapped in the city of Carcosa. Carcosa was that city that moves around, sometimes in the lake, on the lake, beyond the moon, in front of the moon. A line sticks out in your head from the play. Those who see it know its name. And you think back to what Jean had said. She was also trapped in the city. She didn't give a name of the city, but you could assume that it was Carcosa. It was underwater, city made of white coral, granite. Features were undescribable. She couldn't describe exactly what it looked like. And there was enemies there. Fishmen. monstrous aquatic humanoids that were chasing after her as she swam through the streets and alleyways of this ancient city. And you're thinking about it, and before you know it, you arrive at your stop. And you know you only have a short amount of time, so you get up after the bus drivers open the door. He's not going to wait there all night, so he opens it up. You know you have to get up and get out because no one really cares. So you hop out. Cigarette's still lit, of course, because you're invigorating vivification. Properties of tobacco are widely known, and so no one bothers you if you smoke inside automobiles or public transportation. So you're smoking, you're walking towards your apartment building. It's public housing. It's not terrible. It's not the worst place you've ever lived, but you know it's certainly not palatial. But you know that you keep working hard. You're on the straight and narrow path, but you're no longer doing crime. You pass by an alleyway. Oi, Slim Jim, where you off to? You recognize the voice. You turn around, and sure enough, it's your friend Danny.
Danny, how you been?
Oi, Wheels. Doing pretty good. Pretty good, bro. How about you? He looks at you. He's like, you look like your mind's elsewhere. What's got you all troubled, hot and bothered? Did the lady reject you?
Oh, no. I actually got a number today.
Oh, mate. Well, come on. Let's go celebrate. Let's go to a pub.
Danny, it's late already. You know I gotta work.
Work, mate. So would Danny be trying to get you back into the game or no?
No, he wouldn't be actively trying to get me back to the game because he knew I wasn't there for life here.
He pulls it. He puts his hands up. All right. Governor Hunt is too good to hang out with us gutter rats anymore. All right.
Gutter rats. I wouldn't say that. You're still family.
Of course
How about this? One drink. Let's do one drink.
All right. There he is. He's got a big smile. All right, let's go. On me. Tell me all about this lady and your night. And you walk off towards the nearest pub around the corner. With that, we'll cut over. Let's go to. Let's see. What have I got? Let's go to the professor.
Okay. So, as Christian gets to the university, I'll pay off the cabbie, and make my way in to the using the faculty door. I have a key that's outside of the main entrance, which would be locked. It's around or past.
Oh yeah, it's past midnight now.
Yeah. So I'll use the faculty door and make my way through the basically pitch black halls at this point. One or two of these places would have lighting just because it's getting towards that time in history, and my shoes would be echoing down the hall as I made my way towards my office, and I'll be passing by the university's lab in the process.
Well, the labs, I think, do a luck roll. Are you hoping that your friend is there? Is that why you're walking by the labs?
No, it's basically the shortest path from.
Oh, okay. I thought you were hoping to see your friend because it's kind of late. I wasn't sure if you were hoping to see your friend there or not.
No, and if he is there, it would just be luck of the draw. I can still do that roll if you want.
That's up to you.
Yeah, we'll roll the dice. Why not?
Okay.
Let's see.
So a luck roll is going to be you have a skill, it's luck. Another thing that since we're getting into more of like the actual game proper, you can use luck to spend to pass your check. Now you obviously don't want to spend all of your luck. You don't get it refreshed every so often. But I do hope that you've been putting a tick mark next to all of your passes. So now luck doesn't have a tick mark next to it, but let's say you spend luck to like maybe it was a narrow failure, right? And you want to pass this check without pushing the roll, because pushing the roll, something really negative can happen in the story or to you. Just depends on how I feel. You can, if say you missed by like 5 points, you can spend 5 points of luck. You decrease the amount of luck you have and spend those 5 points towards passing your roll. You see what I mean? And you keep a note of that. I can, at a certain point, we will refresh your luck, and I will walk you through that process later. In this case, it didn't matter. You got an extreme success, and you can't push luck rolls or anything like that. So, yeah, you happen to walk by, and you can see the light on in the lab. You know that, perhaps your friend is there. Somebody's in the lab. This is not uncommon, but it is uncommon enough so you'd be like, I wonder who's in the lab.
Right. I'll definitely peer in through the window or through the door.
Okay.
And kind of see what's going on.
Who is your again? Dr. Wilhelm? No, that's not Dr. Thatcher.
No, Professor Adamson.
Professor Adamson. And he's a chemist, biology?
Chemistry and biology.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you see Professor Adamson. He has his white coat on, but he can hear like the footsteps down the hall. And so when you open the door, he's already looking that way. Does he call you by by your first name or by? Yep.
Yeah. Can't run a first name.
Lawrence, welcome. Well, it's late. What time is it? He's looking around. He's like, heavens! It's past midnight now. He takes his glasses off, puts them on the table, rubs his eyes. What the devil are you doing here?
I could ask the same of you, David. I came across an interesting spectacle tonight, and I was eager to jump into a little bit of research. I might sleep here as well. What are you working on?
Another late night, it seems, for both of us. Well, Lawrence, I'm working on publishing a new report. I'm trying to get some more funding for this project. Chemistry, of course. Nothing really profoundly gained tonight. I think I might also just sleep here. It's too late to go home. I don't want to wake my wife. But yes, a spectacle, you say? Did you not have your play tonight? You took your sister. What sort of spectacle was it?
Well, it involved the play directly. During it, there was a strange event where a particular symbol was shown to the crowd, and miraculously somewhat of a brawl broke out among some of the patrons. It was very, very strange. And then when we did the post-play meet and greet with the cast, they seemed apprehensive to discuss it. I'd hoped that we might have something in the library or something regarding the play itself, since it was a written work first. Maybe something could illuminate the situation. You know me, I'm I'm a little bit too curious for my own good sometimes.
Oh, that sounds most mysterious. Are you planning on breaking into the library again, Lawrence?
If only they didn't change the key and lock combination again. We shall see.
You got in so much trouble last time. Yes. Well, I think I may walk with you to my office. I'll pull out my cot there, and I'll sleep here tonight. Yes. Well, so he finishes up. He turns off his Bunsen burner. He takes his reactions off of the heat. Makes his way towards the coat rack. Takes his lab coat off and hangs it back up. Stands up straight. Stretches his neck a little bit. Oh, yes. Nothing like sleeping on a cot in your office to make you wonder about your life choices sometimes. And with that... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna chime in. Well, you and me have both slept in far worse places.
True enough. Yes. And with that, we'll cut over to DuBois. The boys.
Oh.
So you taking a cabbie home with your mother. On the ride there, what's going on in the ride there?
I'm sure lots of complaining from my mother about having to stay out late and how I didn't pay enough attention to her and I didn't appreciate the play enough.
Yes. Why did you not see that it was bothering me? Why couldn't we leave sooner? Look how dark it is outside.
Mother,
and
I'm
is
a
the
very important
snow
man.
important?
I
To-
have many things.
To who, Gigi? To
To
me,
many.
you are most important to me, and likewise, I am the
course,
most
Mother.
important to you, and
You're always the most important.
it is late.
Yes, it's good for you to get out, though.
I did not realize it was going to be this late. I didn't pay attention. Why didn't you tell me?
Oh, Mother, it won't hurt you to stay up a little past dark every now and then.
She shakes her head and looks out of the window, giving you an opportunity to maybe ruminate over some of the night's events.
I'm gonna kind of hurriedly flip back and forth through my notepad, study some of the notes I've taken down, really look at that symbol, and wonder if, perhaps I misdrew. I'm fairly confident in my ability to recall and take notes, but it doesn't seem to have the same power it had before, and I just wonder if I missed something.
Yeah. Well, like you said, you're very confident in your note-taking ability. I mean, it's what helped you get to where you are today. One thing that you keep thinking about is the detective. How he mentioned, this is so strange that would have caused such a riot. And you do recall, there's many a time where football fans get into rows and riots, celebrating, being degenerates in the streets. It's not completely unheard of for plays and performances to upset certain people. What you find most troubling, though, are the notes that you've taken that everybody in your group had seen something different, almost entirely different. Maybe not in your case because you kind of missed some things. I think you were distracted by somebody leaving, so maybe you had missed a few things, catching it at the very last part of the scene. But that from what you had heard from people that didn't have that it's that's what seems strangest to you. Maybe not. Maybe that after, like you said, a night's rest in the drunk tank, that those people might speak with clearer heads if you want. When you go back down there, and you would know where to go. I believe being familiar working with the detective, you know where to go.
Yeah, I'd be pretty familiar with the precincts.
And as you arrive to your house, what kind of house do you live in?
It would be.
What's your credit rating?
Pretty high. It would be kind of like what they call them in New York, a brownstone type, but in London, I don't know what they call them over
a brownstone. Yeah.
Brownstone. Very nice. It's the lower half of the house would be more of an office. That's where I work out of, and then upstairs we have living quarters. It's very lavish, but poorly cared for because I'm very always busy with something, and mother's left to take care of it, and of course she's elderly, so almost hoarderish with amount of books and newspapers strewn about. But at one time it was a very lavish, nice place.
As the driver pulls up, you've noticed that your mother has fallen asleep. You can hear her slightly snoring.
I'm gonna gently nudge her. Mother, we're home.
She looks around, confused a little bit at first. Oh, yes. Right. Well, get the door for me.
Of course, mother.
I raised you better than this.
I'll get out and I'll get the door for her. Take her bag.
Take her bag.
Nice.
Take
her bag.
Her bag.
Her bag.
Take her bag. All right.
Tip the driver very well with her money out of her purse.
And he nods to you respectfully and thankfully, and you walk towards the doors. And we cut back over to Detective McDowell. Please patiently.
McDowell has walked through the cold without his jacket that he'd given to
Oh yeah.
nothing to keep him warm but a cigarette he'd taken out of his little booklet. He walks into the office unperturbed, as unperturbed as one can be, completely shivering. And he passes through the double door and walks toward the back of the precinct to find his desk. He picks up a new manila envelope and walks into the back break room, just kind of like scribbling things down on scrap pieces of paper, names, stories, altercation that occurred, all that sort of thing. And he's sort of considering like how he can start to build his case, because he thinks this is worth investigating.
Right.
Until
what?
Until finally he realizes he's so close to passing out. He needs to go and put on a pot of coffee like right now.
So as you make your way towards the break room and the coffee room, you can see there's officers there. I mean, it's 24 hours. There's always need for police and security in the city, especially one as large as London. And so you walk in, you go to make a pot of coffee. While the coffee's brewing, you're taking more notes and are you keeping your notes in this folder?
Mm-hmm.
Do you put a label on the folder? Is this for your personal use only, or is this to be filed away somewhere?
This is going to be filed away in my desk. I may keep it with me on certain occasions so that Mr. DuBois may go through it if he feels the need.
Okay. Case notes, okay.
Yes.
What do you what do you put what kind of label do you put on this folder, on this manila envelope?
So he's gonna kind of issue the case a name, and he's gonna put he's gonna label it the Yellow King, and just kind of like scribble it on there, on that little kind of like tab that sticks out on the top of the envelope.
Yep. And I'm sure you put probably your name, badge number, or something on it, some kind of identification.
Right. You would put your name, badge number, and then like date.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so that would be October 17th, 1928. Actually, it'd be the 18th now, because it is now the next day. Quickly realizing that you put the wrong date on it, you lined through it, put the 18th. Yeah, it's so late and you're tired. So you've come back to your office, and your original plan was to speak with some of the people that were detained.
I was gonna wait till morning.
Oh, okay.
When they'd finally kind of like come to their senses and realized how ridiculous they'd been behaving. But until then, he was just kind of ruminating on this case, and he was probably gonna just pass out on the break room couch.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so you take as much notes down as you can, recalling everything that you possibly can. I'll not make you roll for it, but I will say that if you didn't write it down in real life, then you probably missed it in your notes that you put in the game.
Right.
So hopefully you took good notes. If you need, do you need any fillers? You good?
No, I'm good.
You're good. Okay. I see. I can see by your look you are counting on Ben, who is hurriedly jotting things down. All right. So your plan are you hoping? Are you going to drink coffee before going to bed? Caffeine has that little effect on you.
Kinda, yeah.
I understand. I know the feeling.
He's
I
he's
know
just
that
kind of
feeling.
like, he's so used to just drinking coffee to keep himself awake that he's built a resistance to it, and now he just needs it to sleep.
I absolutely know that feeling. I have been there before. Like, I need a cup of coffee and a cookie or cake or something before going to bed. I'm not like that anymore, but I used to be that like that. Yeah. All right. Are you hoping now, out of character, player-wise, were you hoping that your one of your bonds, the retired Detective Murphy, would come by? Were you hoping that would happen, or?
It's more of like, I'm confident that I can handle this case on my own, but I do love the surprise when he drops by to drop some nugget of wisdom on me. So it's more like I love being surprised.
Okay. Yeah, you're having your coffee, you're taking your notes at your desk now. Go ahead and do a luck roll for me.
Okay. So we're gonna... That's up here, I guess, probably. Where's the luck stat on the sheet?
It's near the top.
Oh, here it is.
Yep. Okay.
I got the power number down. You
are power number. Yep. So you are you're taking notes and you're feeling yourself get drowsier. Before you fall asleep completely, you hurriedly put your notes back into the folder and file it into your drawer where you would know where to look for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you fall asleep. We cut back over to Mr. Hunt and his friend Danny. Yeah, so he's asked you about. You're at the bar now. He's bought you a drink. And he's asked you about your night. What do you tell him?
Tonight it's been interesting. I saw a fight break out.
A fight at a theater,
Yes, at a theater.
bruv, and they were dressed in tuxedos, no doubt. All hoity-toity.
Yes.
Ridiculous. Rich people fight over the dumbest shit.
I wish I could say that. There was definitely some weird things going on. They freaked out about some sign or something like that.
They saw something and it bothered them so badly that knickers in a bunch and they decided to have a row at the theater.
Yes, I know. It's funny. It's funny. Like, we've seen much worse things than a sign.
Ridiculous.
But enough about my night. Like, what have y'all been into? Like, what been what type of activity y'all been doing?
Oh, mate, this and that. You don't want to get
This
back
and
in
that.
it.
You
Are
know
you
you can tell
curious,
me.
mate? Is that what you're asking?
Come on,
Because you
man.
want to get back in it?
Not necessarily. I wasn't into for the violence, but like
You're missing the money, though, aren't you?
Yes.
You're missing that.
I'm missing that money. Yes.
You're missing that money. Well, look, mate. You're my brother, but is this what do you really want me to tell you? What if there's something new coming? Is that what you're asking? Something new? You want in on? Is that it?
Things been kind of slow.
I'm not going to tell
obviously-
you if that's what. If you're not 100%, I don't want to tell you because you wanted out and now you want back in. Blimey, mate.
Danny, do you need a driver? That's what I'm asking for. I don't want, but do you need a driver?
Well,
You
no
know what I
one
mean
can
by
handle
that.
the streets and the wheels like you, Wheels. All we got is Sammy Pastrami, and he's a limp noodle,
Danny.
mate. You remember Sammy? He got his license now and he can drive. He thinks he's the best.
Danny, you maybe want to come out of retirement, but like I don't like the violence. You know me, I'm not into the violence.
Violence? You were always just the driver. All you did was sit in the car waiting.
I got involved once in a while. Come on, Danny, you gotta give me some credit.
Fine,
I'm
it was that one or two times. All right, I'll give you that. All right, you want in then? I can. Next time I'll come get you beforehand. But if I can't find you, well then that's gonna be on your loss then.
Well, we meet at this bar almost twice a week. You know where to find me.
Twice a week. Do I need to keep up with your secretary? What days? Just keep hanging by the bar for you, like some lost puppy, like your puppy you have. What's her name? Bella. You want me to be your Bella, waiting for you at the bar every night, till you happen to pop by?
Well, you know you're always excited to see me, Danny.
I'll find you. If the next job comes up, I'll find you. But if I can't find you, well then that's it. You missed out. Unless you want back in. But you're doing so good, bruv. I thought you were working towards getting your own shop, being a mechanic.
Yes, but like, think about it. I still got to get my own tools. Like, I was a mechanic. Like, before I got no driving, I was a mechanic, but I still need my own tools. Things are expensive, and like, being a taxi driver don't always get you what you want. Don't want back in, but like.
But we worked so hard to get you out, and now you want more jobs. So you've got him feeling really torn because like you and him worked so hard to like get you out of the game, and now you want back in on the game, and it's got him feeling torn. You know, like he wants you to be the best that you can be, and you know, you had told me that you wanted out, so you wanted to do right, be good.
Dang, so tell me you don't have any side gigs. I'm not talking about gang activities. Well, it is gang, but like any side gigs that you do. You know we don't always report to the boss on everything.
Okay. I'll need you to do a fast talk.
Gotcha.
Because you've worked so hard to, you know, you talk your way out of the gang life, and now you kind of want back in, and you're gonna bring him back in, and you don't have to tell the boss, but like the boss gonna find out, you know, you don't work completely alone. There's like usually a team. You're driving like 3 or 4 other people. Okay. All right, Wheels. All right. I'll let you know if there's anything that pops up. But if I can't find you, we need a driver. And we need a driver then. And you miss out on that one, and I'll try to find you another one if it pops up. And kind of awkwardly, silently going back to drinking for a moment. Hey, how about we play some billiards, and we call it a night? You gotta work the next day. Or this day, right? One game of billiards, and then off with you.
Good. Let's do that.
All right. So, you get back to doing. So, you didn't lose any rapport with your bond, but that was what that score was for.
Yeah.
But I made you do that because he was genuinely feeling a little confused and torn because of all the work that you've been doing, like on the right side, but like another thing to consider is using your bonds to help you with the investigation. So we'll kind of hand wave it as it's the next day. Professors are walking through their, you know, perspective, you know, the hallways together, and then they're like, well, you know, see you in the morning, or you know, good evening, and try to get some rest. Don't let that play bother you too much. And Professor Adams, what's his name?
Adamson. Yeah.
Adamson. Professor Adamson. He goes to his office, and he's gonna pull out his cot. You make it back to your office. Anything you do before you turn in for the night?
I would not in particular. No.
Okay.
Christian would probably just set himself up. Out of force of habit, he would probably set his cot in a military fashion, just because it's the same kind of stuff he's used to. Like his shoes would be put together under one side of the bed, and he would just kind of lay back and try to go to sleep.
God, is it like, do you ever find yourself doing that just normally day to day? Like, I've never stopped doing that. It's basic. Like, I always, like, I have my shoes set up just so in a certain spot, and especially if like I go anywhere that I'm not familiar with, I'm like, I have my shoes set up in a just so spot. And even if my tennis shoes all go by the front door, I always like open them up all the way to let them air out. Yeah. So anyway, the military fashion.
I'm the exact same way. Yep.
Military fashion, organized.
I do that with my work boots. I didn't even realize that was a military thing.
Yeah, so they don't get all like grimy inside.
Yeah.
They air out a little bit.
I still roll all of my socks and shirts.
Oh shit, I don't do that. I do fold my shirts very like neatly enough, but like all for the part where rolling it, I don't do that anymore.
Yeah. No, you remember how we folded the PT shirts?
Yes.
That's how I fold all of my shirts still.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I fold my shirts and the shorts. I still fold them all that way. I just don't roll it up.
Yep.
Yeah,
Same way.
that's funny. Okay, so the rest of the night goes, goes well enough. Before we do any rolls for leveling up, because there's no real level up system, but we are going to level up a little bit. Let me see, what have I got here? Okay. Professor Christian. You kind of have a restless sort of night. Maybe it was that tension that you felt in the play. But you're gonna find something in your notes. I'd like you to. Why don't you read it? This is in the middle of the night. You're tossing and turning, and you have this dream. Now, this is something that you know as players. I mean, yes, players, but not characters. Like, your player characters don't know this, other than Professor Christian. Do you see it there?
No.
Okay, I'll show it to y'all. There we go.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
You gonna give it a read first and then read it out loud to us?
Yeah, just so
Okay,
I'm not. Yeah.
Cold reads are hard. I know what that is now. Cold read.
No research at all, just reading straight from the page.
Like, here,
For the
read
first
this
time?
and make it sound good.
Okay, so. All right. So, in my dream, it's cold outside, and the bedroom window stands wide open. The curtains sigh into the room, and I feel I'm watching myself sleep, wrapping the sheets more tightly around my shoulders, and I see...
Maybe I should read it, because it's kind of jacked up, isn't it?
Yeah, this is
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry, okay. Sometimes I don't look over this once I copy and paste it. So I'll read it. It's cold outside in your bedroom. It's cold outside, and the bedroom window stands wide open. The curtains sigh into the room. You watch yourself sleep, wrapping the sheets more tightly around your shoulders, and you see that they're ripped, shredded into long streamers. Suddenly you rise from bed and stumble out of the room. A long, unfamiliar corridor and across large chambers. You notice marble, carpet, glass, velvet hangings, brick and porcelain, oil and gilded wood. You hear the sounds of your own voice muttering something. It's all a distraction. All a distraction. There's a mask on the wall, and you take it and you put it on. You see a sword, and you pick it up. The robe of tattered cotton plays out behind you. And then you see someone in a side corridor watching you. It's you, eager and yet worried. Suddenly, furious, you race towards this doppelganger. You're gripping your sword tightly. You think you can stand in judgment over me? You think it has nothing to do with you? It's my crown. Mine. And you suddenly wake up to your alarm going off. It's the morning.
So I'm going to reach over and turn off the alarm clock, and sit up in a start and basically just, wow, what a nightmare.
Yeah. So you're kind of recalling what you dreamed dreamt of. The long sheets that you had carried out from your bedroom while you in your dream reminded you of that tattered robe that you saw during the play. Only instead of being yellow, it was this white sheet that you had taken from your bed in tatters. And that's the impression that it left with you. The crown was mine. It was distraction. These words that you were telling yourself in the dream you're trying to hold on to them.
I'm going to grab a pen and paper, and while it's still fresh in my mind, draw as accurately as I can the mask, the sword, and if I saw this crown that I was mentioning, anything like that.
Yeah. There wasn't a crown that you can remember. The sword was like a military style sword, saber, something that you'd be familiar with. The mask was that of the mask that the pallid mask that they had mentioned during the play. It was like that.
Okay.
And
so, I'm going to jot all of this down, draw it as best I can, and then basically gather myself, put my shoes back on, and go to the nearest place where I can wash my face and try to wake myself up more.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a faculty restroom that you know of. So before we get further into this session, let's do a little character development. So this is where you can mechanically improve your stats. So as I had mentioned in previous episodes or sessions, you can you're supposed to keep track of your successes whenever you did a check that involved a skill. So on your list of skills, there's a little pip mark that you can put, you can fill in if you succeeded. So let's go through those and let's see what we'll do. Who's got their character sheet up?
I do.
Okay. All right, Brenden. Since we just had a scene with you, let's do Jon first.
Okay.
So Jon, which one are you looking at?
So I am looking at acting.
Acting. Okay. So let me pull this up. You had successfully rolled an acting check. Where is that? Oh, I see. Okay. So I want you to roll a dice. Now, typically, so you're gonna hit acting, but when you do, you want to aim high. You want it to be higher than your current acting score. So you need to roll an 85 or better.
Okay.
Okay. So what'd you get?
I got a 74.
Okay. So unfortunately, you out of 85. So 74 is less than 85. You're not going to be able to improve acting.
Yes.
So
Okay.
the better you are at something, the harder it's going to be to level up. So you can take that pip off, and we can do. Let's see. You also succeeded at psychology
And spot hidden.
and spot hidden. Okay. So let's do psychology first.
Okay. 62.
Okay, 62 over 30, so you pass. So what you're going to do is you will increase it by 1d6. So you can roll a d6 and you'll increase your psychology by that amount.
Okay. Three.
Okay, so now you can edit your psychology score to 33. Yep. All right, so I'm going to close this window on my side. All right, and then we had spot hidden. So once we
Yes.
do that, we can do that, and we'll move on to the next person. So now that you've changed that, you can take the pip away. I'll take the pips away. That way you don't accidentally do it again. So spot hidden.
I got a 14 versus my 50.
Okay, so you're not going to be able to improve that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So make sure you save your changes there, and we can go on to who else had their sheet up? Brenden, did you still have your sheet up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go ahead and take care of yours. Is everybody still are you guys tracking on how to do that?
Can you tell me how to save my document? I turned off the edit mode, but I don't know if that's the save function.
I think if you turn it on and make changes and then hit it again to turn off edit mode, it should automatically save it.
Okay, cool.
If you're concerned about it, just take a screenshot. Anybody else? If you guys are tracking how to do that, go ahead and do that on your own, and then I'll ask you what sort of improvements you guys made. Brenden, go ahead and do. I think you just have the one in spot hidden.
Yeah. I'm going back and double checking because I might have missed.
Okay. So while you're going back, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just more talking out loud. I did have a success in archaeology, and then everything else after that was I had a success in luck, but there's no thing for that. Am I going to be able to upgrade my luck, or is that a stagnant thing?
That's going to be static. You can once we start dabbling in on using luck, then I will fit that in to like you can replenish your luck by a certain amount. But since nobody has touched their luck at all, like dipped into it to pay, like I told you can use it to kind of beef up your roll a little bit to pass if you're close enough, then like no one's done that yet, so we're not going to do that.
Okay.
But basically your luck score, that's your cap. That's your luck score.
Got it. Okay. So roll for each of these that I had a success in.
Yep.
And if it's higher, then I can roll a d6 to upgrade.
Yes. If you roll higher, a 95 or higher on your dice roll, then you can roll 2d6 to upgrade.
Dope. So not. Okay.
And then once you've rolled for it, go ahead and take that pip away.
All right. Oh shit. I don't get nothing.
You didn't get it? All right. So who's next? Chuck, have you done yours yet or no?
Not just yet, but I had 2 successes. I had a spot hidden and I had a fast talk.
All right. Yeah, you did a lot of fast talking. All right, let's do your fast talk first.
No, didn't get another 37 over 40.
Damn. That sucks.
And spot hidden. I get nothing either.
Wow. Well, that's what you get for rolling so good. Go ahead and take those pips away.
All right.
And then go back to after you take those pips away, go back into your character sheet and make sure that it's saved, that those pips have been cleared. All right, Ben, that leaves you.
Don't believe I had. The only successes I had were in intelligence and sanity. Just the main static ones.
Oh, yeah, because you tried psychology. But
I did rework that, though, while we were
Okay.
running through some of the expose, because I don't know why. I had things like my dodge was like crazy high. And I'm like, I'm a short fat guy. I'm pretty sure I'm not dodging super well.
Yeah.
And so I went back. There was like a couple of those where it's like, why was that high? There's no reason for that. And I took those stats and basically just flipped them with psychology and psychoanalysis.
Okay. That's fair. Take screenshots just in case. That way you can go back and fix it later.
Yeah.
Okay, so no upgrades for you. So we did get some upgrade from for the detective. So that's something. Okay, and speaking of the detective, he slept at his precinct the night before. Did he just fall asleep at his desk, as in his chair?
It was more like he just kind of went to the break room and like passed out on the couch.
Oh, there's a couch in the break room. Okay. Yeah.
It's like a shitty, worn, in places slightly torn leather couch.
Of course it is. Well,
Yeah.
That's why you guys can't have nice things.
Yeah.
Why are all the chairs in every office all fucked up?
Because people love to sit in them and like
Pick
be
at it.
stupid, like plop their big butts down in them.
Pick at the armrests.
Yeah, just constantly scraping at them like a big old scab.
All right. So it's a new day.
So, Detective McDowell, he kind of wakes up in a sort of a groggy stupor, and he walks back over to the unfinished coffee pot and eyes the stale pot of coffee and pours himself a cup and walks down to the holding cells where all these rambunctious fools are in their expensive theater wear, and he kind of like loudly knocks on the bars, waking most of them up. All right, who wants to come in and talk to me first?
Yeah. And there's a sergeant that followed you in as an escort, just in case. Procedural.
Mhm.
And they're all looking groggy and disheveled from having spent the night in basically what's the drunk tank. They're all well-to-do. They're fairly well-off individuals. So one man stands up. He comes over to you. Same gentleman. Put his finger on your chest the night before. Yes, sir. Let's get this over with. Firstly, I'm sorry for my behavior last night. You certainly did not deserve the attitude that I displayed to you the night before, or yet last night. I certainly have learned my lesson, and believe I owe you a sincere apology. So yes, I apologize for my behavior last night. It's intolerable, inappropriate.
You're correct. And you're going to come and sit at my desk with me.
Yes,
We
sir.
need to talk.
Absolutely.
Detective McDowell motions for the door to be open, and he pulls out a set of cuffs. And he says, "All right, rest of you, hands on the wall. Look away." And then he cuffs this man and brings him out. Closes the gate.
He's a heavy-set man. He's kind of shuffling side to side. Not because he's chained at his feet, but he's like, "Oh, sir, detective, are these cuffs really necessary?"
Well, starting a fight with me yesterday wasn't exactly necessary, was it?
You're right, sir. I will face my my actions accordingly. Forgive me.
Exactly.
I'll follow you, sir. His head is down, and he's very disappointed in himself.
Mhm. So, the detective brings him to his desk and pulls his own chair out and says, "Have a seat." And he opens one side of his handcuffs and cuffs him to the desk.
God, you've seen a lot of detective shows.
Yeah. And do you want a cigarette?
Oh, after last night's, yes, I need its vivification.
Alright. He pulls out his little booklet, hands him a cigarette, and pulls out his Zippo lighter, lights it for him.
Thank you, sir. Yes.
So, last night, go over the events with me. Start from the beginning, when you first entered that theater.
Yes, sir. Well, I had heard about the play and thought it'd be interesting. I took the young woman who I had started a relationship with, seeing, taking on dates on a regular basis. I thought it would be fun, and so she attended the play with me. I do hope she made it home safe. She did not participate in the row, and so she undoubtedly went home, probably never to speak to me again. Yes, went to the play. Everything seemed fine. It's all until that portion of the play just before the intermission.
Wait, describe that portion. Was it Act 1, Scene 3?
Yes, I suppose so. I can't remember the name of the... I don't attend the theater too often. I don't know what's in fashion these days. He's an older gentleman. He's older than you. I don't go to plays, and I don't know what's considered fashionable these days.
Do you remember how the scene played out?
Let me think. Last night is so fuzzy. He puts his hand on his temple. He's thinking. He takes a drag from his cigarette. For the life of me, I can't recall exactly what happened. Just the feeling it gave me is unnerving.
And McDowell is carefully writing all this stuff down in his notebook.
And as you are taking notes and kind of interrogating this witness, let's jump to Dr. DuBois. You've woken up in the morning. I don't know what your schedule looks like for today, but what do you think your schedule looks like for today? You work at a psychiatrist's office, or do you see clients individually? How does that work?
I see him more individually. I have, colleagues and stuff like that I meet with to help write books and things like that. But as the most part, it's more of a home office visit type thing. Like my home office, they come visit me, and so I would say my morning's pretty free. Usually, it's more towards the later afternoon when I see people.
All right, so you're probably lazily getting up out of bed. Your house is one of those old houses where it has like a buzzer in the room and like a little speakerphone, not a speakerphone, but like a tubing system that people can like communicate with each other across the room. You hear a buzzing sound and your mother's voice coming in through one of these tubes. Gee, wake up, lazy bones. Breakfast is ready.
I'll very slowly cat-like stretch and kind of sit up in bed, very like everything hurts, aches and pains of being old and fat now. And I'll go, "I'm coming, Mother, I'm coming,"
knowing that she can't really hear you unless you're talking to the tube.
I'm just talking out loud, and I'll proceed to rummage through some papers and look over a few things again, absentmindedly, check my schedule for today, and then make my way down to the kitchen to have breakfast with Mother.
Anything planned for today?
A couple appointments later this afternoon, just run of the mill.
Sure.
Depending on how intriguing things get, I may cancel.
Okay. Sounds good. Let's jump to Mr. Hunt. So you wake up, your dog, Bella, she's in bed with you, sleeps at the foot of your bed. Where's Bella? I thought I had a picture of Bella here. Yeah, here she is. She's a little dog. She sleeps at the foot of your bed. She sees you stirring, and she also gets up, hops up. She's been waiting, but like patiently.
Then yeah, I grab her. I'm like, oh, Bella. Oh.
She's a squirmer. She doesn't like lay still, even though she's not super young anymore. She doesn't lay still. She fidgets and she's licking at your face and things like that.
Yeah. Always so energized. So he'll put her back down.
And she barks at you, kind of like impatiently now. Like you can tell this means like I need to go outside. I need to go outside, or there's gonna be an accident in the house, in the apartment.
Okay, he's like, oh, always in a rush, aren't you? All right. So he'll go get her leash, put it on her, and then start to take her like downstairs to go out. This be about the time, he'll grab like on the way, like he'll grab like a bottle, like some water or something like that, and head his way down to take Bella out to use the restroom.
Sure, yeah. Sure. I think bottled of water probably isn't common then, but I'm sure you can have tap water. It's probably
a glass of water. Yeah, a glass of water or something like that. Just take a jug or something like that, fill it up with water.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Keep it in like a room temperature fridge. A lot of common appliances that we have now were not super common in the late 20s, early 30s.
No, I don't think he was refrigerating. I think he literally just grabbed like a glass or something off the counter or some shit like that, and put some tap water and just
He was up late last night, so I mean, I'm not gonna make you roll any rolls, like any disadvantages or anything like that. But I mean, it was a late night. He stayed up drinking, partying with his homie. So yeah, he's gonna reluctantly take his puppy for a walk, just outside, hopefully. What is Walter's plan for the day?
After he takes Bella out, he'll take her back upstairs, make sure she's fed and all that good stuff. Then he'll start making his way of catching like the bus or to start his day for his work.
Okay.
He will drive because, like I said, Chris. The connection between him and Kristen is that he just goes over there. Like he knows what his schedule is.
Yeah.
You need to call me, so I'll just go over there.
Yeah.
Knowing that most likely Kristen's probably not there. He slept at the professor's house, so he'll probably drive over to Kristen's house, thinking he's gonna be waiting on him.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So yeah, you prepare yourself. You have to get to the depot where all the cabs are kept. But yeah, you'll make your way over to the professor's house, and you get there. You at the time where he normally is. You wait, possibly wait there for several minutes. No one comes out. You know that it's past the time that he would normally need a ride to work, so you could probably imagine that he's probably already left for the day. Or maybe he's spent the night at his office. He may have mentioned that to you, to the group.
No.
Maybe not, but it's something that you could assume as being his regular cabbie. It's like, all right, well, on to the next one. And so you have a routine you go to, but plenty of time to drive and think, what to do next. Maybe looking forward to hearing from Danny if there's
Yeah.
any possible jobs later. You could swing by his usual haunts if you wanted, but kind of planning out your day, hitting your routine, your regular spots. Let's get over to the professor really quick. So we get back to the professor washing up at the university in the faculty restroom facility. There's a little shower there if you wanted to shower. A little locker room. You might have a change of clothes there, seeing as though you had mentioned, sometimes spending the night there. You probably have a spare change of clothes. You can shower and change. You've had this just unnerving dream, just kind of weird. It wasn't super scary. It was just really weird, like how the night before kind of worked its way into your dream.
Yeah. So after I've basically gathered myself, I'm going to immediately set to work looking up the name of the play. I still have the ticket that had the name, right?
Yep.
So I would immediately start looking up anything regarding this play, and basically just start doing my homework. Like, if it affects me that deeply to where I had a dream like that, clearly there's some like subliminal messaging or something going on. So I want to know everything about it.
All right. So I've set a out of game to cut out. Put a 15-minute timer. Do you want to? We've already played for an hour. Do you want to do 15 minutes and then wrap up, or end it here?
I'm cool with whatever.
Yeah, if this is a good place to stop, you issue with it. I do got to get to bed eventually here, but
Okay.
I will stay up till about 11 o'clock anyways. So
What time is it there right now?
it's 9:30 here, or 9:25.
Oh yeah, that's right. You haven't
Yeah,
moved to
9:30.
Washington yet, but in Washington it's like 2 hours
Yeah, it's-
early. So.
Yeah, it's only 7 there.
Okay. So let's do this. Let's do this 15-minute last thing with Professor, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah. Professor Christian would know. Yeah, I mean, he can certainly check in the library, do a periodical search, or search reference material. Would take some time. What does his class schedule sound like? What does it look like? What classes does he teach? When does he teach them?
What day is it in the week?
So let's see. I think it was a Wednesday, so today would be a Thursday in game.
I probably wouldn't have anything until the afternoon.
Okay.
My class schedule would look like Tuesdays and Thursdays is the late afternoon lectures, and then Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays are my actual like back-to-back classes.
Okay. Yeah. So keeping your days somewhat free, so you can do your own independent research if needed, and so yeah, you can make your way to faculty lounge, the cafeteria. You pick up something to eat, because certainly you don't want to do research on an empty stomach. You make your way to the library. It's open now. So let's do a library roll. So I believe library should be a skill on your
Yeah, library use.
library use. So again, tell me what it is you're looking up. You wanted to look up specifically for the play, right?
Yeah. Basically anything having to do with the play, maybe a physical copy of like this play if it was mass produced ever, the original story, anything that might have inspired it, just basically anything that would catch my attention.
Okay. Go ahead and do a library use.
Okay, success.
Okay. What kind of success did you get?
Just a regular.
So yeah, you and this is an old-timey library. There's no like a computer you can look up to see exactly what you need to look at, but you make your way through periodicals and reference material. You eventually stumble across the play by the name "The King in Yellow." Was the original title of the play. So not Carcosa, not the Queen and the Stranger, but The King in Yellow. It was originally written by an unknown author in some dates place it before 1895, some place it after in the early 1900s. But if you take the roundabout, the average around 1895 was when it was originally produced. Some sources indicate that it was possibly written by a Frenchman named Thomas de Castaing. That's so Thomas, then de, and then Castaing, Castaing. This was destroyed just as the Third Republic of France had taken power and began systematically destroying all the publications. So they basically, during one of the French revolutions, the folks in power came and started destroying all the copies. An English translation was later written again by an unknown author. No, they don't know who originally wrote the translation. But I'm sorry. So that one, the original translation was in 1895, but the original was penned during the Third Republic of France, or just before. You have a description of it. The English translation is a thin black volume with what's described as a large yellow insignia embossed across the front cloth cover. So a thin black volume with an embossed yellow sign of some kind.
Is it the same sign as before?
It doesn't give any exact description. It just says with a yellow insignia. That's all it's described as, being a yellow insignia.
Okay.
You did succeed at the roll, so I'll give you a little bit more. The reason why it was destroyed was, amongst other reasons, mainly it was being suggested that it was the cause of several outbreaks of revolution, and that it was inciting revolution. Again, this took place during the French Revolution, so it's not entirely surprising that, that someone would connect art to revolution. Same thing happened during World War II. Things like out of game, like, things like that happen. People blame art for revolutionary thinking.
Got it. Okay. Sounds good.
So yeah, relatively mundane information.
It at least gives me a starting point. So when I meet up with Detective McDowell later, I at least have a frame of reference, and it's maybe something that could lend some background.
Yeah. We have a few more minutes. Let's jump back over to Detective McDowell. Wrap it up with Detective. So you're back there with this gentleman who had put his hand upon you as during the fight at the theater after the play. You had just spoken with him about what he had seen. He said he was just thoroughly unnerved by it.
Well, so you get this feeling, and you're unnerved. What about that? After you get this feeling, what happened?
Well, sir, and he takes another drag of his cigarette. As I said, I can't really recall exactly what lines were spoken, on only the feeling that it gave me. But I was there, like I said, with my female acquaintance, who I am still actively pursuing a relationship with. Whether or not she would still have anything to do with me now, but you. What was your question again?
You feel unnerved.
Oh, yes.
What happens next?
Well, I was feeling unnerved, and the man playing the stranger, I guess, he approaches the stage, and like I had said, I'm not familiar with the fashions of art today, but in my day, you don't simply do that in a crowd of mixed company, men and women in the audience. But the gentleman, he exposed himself. Certainly you did see that. And I had almost had enough of that until the very end of the play, when I just thoroughly had enough.
Mm-hmm. So, in response to this, you begin fighting other men in the crowd.
Well, that wasn't until later. I had thoroughly had enough by that point. But he exposed himself, sir. Didn't you see his genitals flashing around? So this man is basically saying when the stranger came out and exposed the yellow sign, this gentleman saw that the stranger had flashed everybody.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say anything. He kept it to him. I kept it to myself. But like I said, maybe I'm old-fashioned, but certainly I did not think it. I held my tongue and my actions, but at the end of the play, I certainly just could not take any more.
So you thought it would be a good idea to fight other patrons?
Well, I was just so upset. I can't, like I said, sir, I made an egregious error against you and against other patrons there. I was just simply taken aback, and I got caught up in the moment, I suppose. I know that's not an excuse, but I've never done anything like this before. I've never gotten into fights.
Enough about the play. Are you typically this aggressive? Do you fight about how you feel often?
No, sir, I am a respectable Englishman. I don't talk about these things. I simply bottle them up and drink, and then die angry. Just kidding. No, no, of course not. I'm a respectable Englishman.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
so
said,
if
I was.
talk to this woman, she will tell me that you have never once started a row before.
Well, I would certainly hope not. But you can speak with any of my acquaintances. I've only been speaking to this woman for several months, but I've never fought, certainly never raised a hand towards her, or during our nights out, ever raised a hand towards anybody, or even my voice towards anybody. I speak loudly, but I don't yell at people.
Very well. So, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen next. You're going to be formally booked. I'm going to read your rights. You will be appointed a lawyer, and you will have a court date. You can post bail. Sorry?
I was just saying his eyes are widening. It's like...
Now, you can post bail, but you will still make that court date. If you do not make that court date, I will find you, and I will bring you back here, and you will serve your sentence, regardless of whether you're guilty or not.
Yes, sir. Yes.
In addition, you will pay a fine, and I expect you to pay it. You can try and fight it in court, but I don't think you'll get very far.
Very, very well, sir. I will take the repercussions of my actions. Must I stay the night here, or may I pay my bail and leave now?
I'm going to need to talk to you again after I interview the other inmates. But the max we can hold you for is a couple of days. After that, you can either post bail, or you can stay until your court date.
May I phone my household to let them know that I will not be coming home?
Yes. So, Detective McDowell is going to motion to one of the other, regular officers
Sure.
there in the police department.
Sure.
He's going to say, take this man to a telephone. Do not uncuff him until you get him back to his cell. Afterwards, he is supposed to be incarcerated away from the other men from the previous night. Until I am done interviewing every one of them, they will go back in the cell with him after my interview. But before, he does not make contact with any of the previous cellmates.
And with that, we fade to black. As we pick it up next time, in the next episode of Detective McDowell. Dun, 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 dun.
Stay out of trouble. Your move, creep.